Now, the election in the Netherlands is still too close to call, with the centre-left D66 in a potential tie with the far-right party of Geert Wilders. Both D66 and Wilders' PVV heading potentially for 26 seats. A big rise for D66 and a loss of over 10 seats for Wilders from last time. Tough coalition talks lie ahead then, although the centre-left party more likely to be able to form alliances. For more on this story, we can go across to Fernande Van Tets standing by in Amsterdam. Fernande, good afternoon. What's the latest where you are?
So the latest, Delano, is that it is the tightest race this country has ever seen, with just 2,000 votes roughly separating these two parties, as voting is now almost over. It's possible that there will be a recount. Officially, the results will only be certified next week. Let's hope we don't have to wait that long. But the night ended yesterday after the exit polls with D66 thinking they had it in the bag, that they would be the largest and they would be able to start forming a government. However, now the polls the count seems to have suggested that Geert Wilders is actually the one slightly in the lead by these couple of thousand votes, and that he would be the first to be able to invite other parties to form a coalition. That is traditional here. The largest party can appoint an informer who then starts to talk with all parties about what is possible. Now, Geert Wilders, of course, excluded by the major parties here due to his lack of reliability in the last two coalitions he was a part of. He walked out of the last coalition in June after just 11 months. And other parties saying they won't work with him because they are so worried about the fact that he has a lot of unconstitutional viewpoints, particularly concerning people of the Islamic religion. He wants to ban the Quran and so such. So he will find it very hard to find people to form a coalition with. But we are still waiting to hear who will get the chance to start talks and see what is possible in a very, very fragmented parliament with more than 15, or not more than 15, parties having seats.
So, Fernande, if Geert Wilders is so toxic and no one wants to touch him, who is likely to become the country's next prime minister?
So all the cards are in hands of Rob Jentten, the leader of D66. He was pretty unknown outside of the Netherlands before. He's been leader of D66 for a while. He also was leading the campaign 2 years ago, but then he only won 9 seats. Now he's cruising towards 26. Now, he would be the country's first openly gay prime minister. He would also be the youngest prime minister this country has ever seen. He is only 38 years old. However, he has a long political track record. He started going into politics when he was 27. He worked for a member of the Senate. He was a local councillor in the town of Nijmegen, and then he came into Parliament in 2017. He also headed the fraction for a while, and he was a minister for climate. So he has a long political track record, and you could feel that in this campaign. You could see that shining through, that he was very comfortable on his own skin. He's been around the block, as he said in interviews. But a first on many fronts if he manages to form a government. The only question is, what will that government look like? He is, of course, a centrist who won on a positive platform, saying, yes, we can, and essentially, but the question is, yes, we can, how? Will it go over the centre-right, which is something that the Liberals will want, or is he going to be able to form a coalition with the left, which is his preference? But we'll have to see if the numbers add up. Right now, the most likely outcome, or the outcome with the biggest amount of support, would be a centre-left coalition, which would include the Christian Democrats, the Labour Left coalition, and the Liberals of the VVD. However, caveat, the Liberals have campaigned on the fact that they will not form a coalition with the left. So we'll have to see what comes out. But for now, it just is a question of timing. Who gets to start these talks? Because Rob Jentten will probably be the next prime minister. But how long it will take for him to get there, that is what this result will